how the New York Times actively vouched for the veracity of its false narrative.
We actually want all evidence to come out that's proper and appropriate evidence.
So everything is falling down for you guys because people perceive you as bullies.
Blake Lively's attorney recently quit. Seems unable to endure the growing embarrassment any longer. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni's legal team released damning evidence that is so overpowering that it compelled Blake's lawyers to truly doubt their entire approach.
We actually want all evidence to come out that's proper and appropriate evidence.
1 minute Blake is projecting herself as the victim, and the next her own lawyer abandons ship faster than you can say courtroom calamity. When your own defense walks away, it's a clear sign the game has ended.
To be a full-blown, I am sorry, I lied, I am a terrible person, tail in between the legs, and that's what we deserve.
Imagine this. You submit the most ridiculous lawsuit of your life, hurl wild accusations, pretend to be the victim, and spin the media to appear as a delicate damsel, and then your attorney adds the towel. Merle Conan, Blake's attorney, literally quit following Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, launched hostilities so severe that even the PR machine was unable to recover. Honestly, Conan's decision to leave is understandable. Blake's situation was already dire. Titanic, and he wasn't about to go down with it.
Kind of had her down to a prototype and said, I'm going to pump the brakes and see what happens. And then when Brian Friedman came back with the facts, they were just undeniable. It was undeniable.
Here's the worst part. The mayhem escalated as Baldoni's team carelessly released 170 pages of strong proof. Not simply a few texts or she made claims, he said. This was a complete 170-page dossier crammed with emails, messages, as well as confirmed information that totally demolished every single claim Blake had produced.
And they publish 170 pages of perfectly documented texts and emails between all the parties that basically show Blake to be the aggressor. Here's the proof.
Every assertion she made was completely refuted, obliterated, torn piece by piece. Moreover, seeing her squad scrambling in reaction, totally priceless in Toro 6. Now Blake's public relations staff is in critical condition. You can practically hear the panic resonating via their offices. The same crew that previously cozied up to the media, creating perfect headlines to depict she is the ultimate victim of Hollywood. Yes, they are rapidly losing control.
That's the whole point of a lawsuit, is you just start with allegations, and allegations are not evidence. They're just statements of fact that help establish this is the claim that I'm bringing.
Another crucial piece of information started spreading. Those dazzling media features allegedly slowed down quickly. The coverage that appeared encouraging at first has grown noticeably quieter. Industry commentators and observers are described as a warning that the circumstances appear with fewer public defenders. It's serious moving forward. The story being painted is of a public image under tension where entertainment perception circles can change rapidly when they are lawful and reputational concerns begin to mount.
Monstrous what she did, and she's got to pay for it.
Live birth.
A startling $650 million in litigation is hovering like a wrecking ball over Blake. And the craziest thing, her own team has at last acknowledged the reality that her chances of winning are zero.
Most people cannot afford, even if he was worth a certain amount, cannot afford $100 million. And then when you attach penalties and you add interest and all of these things, it is a nightmare, an absolute nightmare for them.
This leads us to Merle Conan, the attorney who very likely awoke one morning, examined the entire catastrophe, and yeah, I'm not jeopardizing my career protecting the circus, and are you really blaming her? From the very this lawsuit wasn't founded at first. On facts, it was actually constructed on smoke and mirrors.
I knew a bit about her. I knew how she grew up. I knew that she kind of was one of these people. What tends to be the case is that when you grow up with everything, you create things out of nothing because you're looking for struggle in your life and you're used to getting whatever it is that you want.
No reliable evidence of harassment, no body-related documentation shame, not a single receipt that has been confirmed discussing nursing concerns, just noisy, bold statements with nothing solid to support them. Blake seems to have taken a script taken directly from her Gossip Girl days and forgot that real life requires proof. Not only did Brian Friedman submit a normal opposition, he absolutely buried Blake's case behind a pile of legal facts, exposing how her team depended on media headlines, PR fluff, and some desperate story instead of any genuine proof.
Every document every email, every text message.
And when the enemy hit back with substantial, indisputable data, the attorney I could see the writing on the wall. The only way to stay safe was to leave herself prior to falling with Blake's sinking vessel. But that's not even the juiciest portion. Let's delve into how Blake's public relations staff believed they could off the ultimate trick of magic.
This filing is pure comedy and insanity. It literally contradicts itself, and it's not even admissible because of certain things that.
The music in this filing is pure comedy, and recall the notorious December 2024 news story from the New York Times? Blake's public relations team promoted that story like their careers relied on it, portraying Baldoni as the villain and portraying the victim card of Hollywood. But fast forward, and that tactic hasn't held up over time. Baldwin's group dismantled the narrative, proving how the media fell directly into Blake's grasp without checking a single fact.
And it really was quite horrific because you just go, what kind of a monster even goes through with this CRD filing? Like, they're basically bullying him again in the law.
The same PR group that previously believed they had the advantage is in full panic state. And if you thought they think again, we're simply spin doctors. PR manager Lizzie Sloan, the brainchild additionally, underlying Blake's public persona, is mentioned in Baldwin's $400 million lawsuit.
No, Justin Baldoni is suing him, Blake Lively, and their PR person, Leslie Sloan, for $400 million.
Indeed. The same group that was employed to defend Blake's reputation has now turned into a legal responsibility on their own. I mean, how badly do you have to misstep for your PR crew to put an end to a portion of the lawsuit? Moreover, it becomes even more juicy. With discovery in progress, all of the PR team's filthy laundry has a significant chance of leaking. Private messages, dubious backroom chat, every carefully designed media campaign, they're all available. Awaiting exposure. Baldwin's group isn't holding back anymore. They're decreasing receipts. And regardless of how Blake's crew works hard to keep it in check, the more it blows up in their faces.
It's as though she's a narcissist, like an actual diagnosed narcissist.
What's really funny is how much time they spent attempting to manipulate the media. Story, believing they were untouchable. However, courts don't give a damn about PR spins. They are concerned with harsh, chilly proof. Blake doesn't have any at the moment. Her attorney is aware of it. Her public relations team is aware it. Hollywood knows it. And the public sure as heck knows it. All that's left is Blake standing there watching every element of her carefully crafted tale crumble.
I don't believe Blake Lively is that, but again, you can clearly see, in my opinion, the narcissism at bare minimum that's going on with her.
And can we just pause to recognize how everyone, I really mean everyone, is making sense of Blake at last? The attorney was released on bond. There has been silence from the media. Hollywood insiders are discreetly whispering that she's finished. Even she PR crew looks like they're ready to resign and switch professions. Yet Blake, she's still pretending she's got a shot. At this moment, the sole individual who genuinely Blake thinks she has a shot. Herself. And that honestly is the saddest aspect.
Yeah, and again, at the same time, Nathan assembled a team that could dominate social media through full social account takedowns by starting threads of theories and...
Hold that thought.
Here we go. Generally working to change the narrative. So it's impossible to know how much they planted and how much of it originated organically. Well, wait a minute.
She is holding on to this lawsuit as if it were any last-ditch power maneuver when in actuality, she is being pulled by the anchor. Beneath, Hollywood doesn't have time for someone who attempted to manipulate the system, been captured, and now wants to play the victim when the entire plot backfires.
Where this money is. This isn't like who has the cash for this type of lawsuit.
Not to mention this entire tragedy didn't happen overnight. It's required months of deception by the media, desperate PR gimmicks, and subpar legal advice from Blake's team to get here. But the instant Brian Friedman dropped the entire hoax, including the receipts, crashing down.
Very uncomfortable moment. We felt it. Well, now they could do the same thing. You know, but
Right.
Brian Friedman could say, here, exactly. Okay, you want to do a settlement? Here it is. We're going to write, you are sick people who tried to take over my movie and crush a little peanut like me just because I'm a man bun wearing, soft, beautiful...
Blake Lively believed she had total control over the media. Around her perfectly manicured small finger, didn't she? For a short at that moment, it was successful. That large, glossy piece in the New York Times with the headline, "We can bury anyone," she said, floating on clouds, believing she was impervious to harm. The item virtually kissed her feet, making all of the baseless accusations against Justin Baldoni as absolute truth. It was as if the Times had personally stamped her assertions with a certified Blake Lively seal of victimization. Unfortunately for Blake, though, that lovely story came tumbling down more quickly than she could blink.
And outraged, essentially, over us bullying you. That doesn't make you look good on paper. It doesn't make you look good in the court of public opinion. It makes you look like what you actually are, which are a bunch of bullies who think they can get away with everything.
Due to Brian Friedman's failure to have fun, his legal reaction wasn't only point out flaws in that Times article. It's completely shredded it. He abruptly claimed that the New York Times had violated fair report privilege, which essentially indicates that the paper went beyond the bounds of reporting to actively promoting Blake's fabricated story. Instead of framing it as Blake Lively alleges XYZ, they presented it like they'd done deep investigative work, verifying every detail of her assertions. The problem? There was absolutely zero proof. Friedman called them out for packaging Blake's lies as if they were facts. And honestly, it's pure poetic justice.
To replace what his name is Brian Tyler, the composer on the movie. Well, Taylor Swift is not going to give you this unless we get what we want. She wants this credit. She wants this credit. She wants her.
And now media outlets are scrambling, terrified they might be the next targets dragged into this lawsuit mess. Judge Lyman even hinted at dismissing the New York Times entirely from the case, signaling that their so-called journalistic masterpiece could end up being worthless. Remember, the Times was Blake's safety net, her PR weapon, her ace in the hole. However, right now, one ruling, it's hanging by a thread away from complete collapse, leaving her exposed to face the fallout alone. No flashy headlines, no sympathetic fluff bits, just cold, hard court reality.
There's a lot of factual determinations that need to be made here, not legal determinations. And because there's factual determinations, you got to leave it to the jury. You got to give a jury the property.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're just saying, look, just let the facts decide. And the trier of fact in any case is going to be the jury. Unless it's a bench trial, then it's a judge. But this is not. This is a jury trial.
Even Lady C and half of Hollywood's critics have ceased pretending. They're calling out Blake and the Times for completely trampling over journalistic ethics. Running a PR machine is one thing, but weaponizing one of the greatest important media to push a bogus victim narrative, that's a whole other level of messy.
A factual assertion that these people did something, seizing on it and amplifying it.
And Lady C didn't hold back. She straight LY shouted out the entire media circus for acting as Blake's personal propaganda apparatus. Now, with Friedman's shocking revelation destroying the Times' role, Blake's media shield has completely vanished. She believed that Baldoni could be buried, but all she really buried herself.
5 other claims. He's got extortion, he's got false light, and everything immediately falls apart there. But I'm saying even that was ill-advisable. I would not have said, quote unquote, hurt feelings and saying, like, they're basically bullying him again in the lawsuit.
It gets even more juicy, though. Just when you consider Blake's legal team couldn't mess up anymore, her new lawyer tosses her under the bus with indifference. Within court filings, her own attorney admitted that Blake Lively is dealing with severe mental health problems.
Blake Lively fears profound mental health issues are at risk of being leaked amid Justin Baldoni legal drama.
Yeah, you heard that right. Her own defense team accidentally let the cat out of the bag. Instead of focusing on arguing her case, they literally put her mental health on show for everyone to see. And honestly, at this point, no one's even surprised.
It's just almost unbelievable that her lawyer would file this. I don't understand why he would put this out there. It's just very bizarre. There's a lot of things that he could have talked about.
So now Blake's team is imploring the court for an attorney's ISON only protective order. Because they're desperate to hide all the delicious, harmful details, especially anything related to her mental wellness and personal security. I mean, if everything was absolutely innocent, why the sudden panic to lock it all away?
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are moving to protect their text messages and sensitive data amid their legal battle with Justin Baldoni. The couple has filed a request to keep their texts with high-profile people confidential.
Another interpretation being pushed is that references to mental health are being utilized to explain some of the stated behavior and legal approach. Supporters of The View argue it shows stress, pressure, and a desire to dominate the story, while critics argue it's being raised mainly to justify sealing critical information. Either example, talks concerning someone's mental health in court documents are serious, private things, and they're often related to demands for secrecy as opposed to evidence of misconduct.
But to reveal that your client has profound mental health issues is very alarming because, we all have mental health.
It has a serious Amber Heard vibe. Vitality. Observers are already considering narcissism, personality disorders, as well as textbooks' manipulative actions. You're not required to observe the pattern as a psychologist. Coming into being.
Now, let me just say this. Having a mental health disorder does not excuse you in any way from what you're doing. And in fact, I personally believe that Ryan Reynolds is not only a narcissist, but I believe he is
Blake's whole victim routine now begins off like a person in a desperate spiral that clinging on scraps as her empire collapses all around her. Even Judge Lyman seemed doubtful of all these safeguards order requests. The question is clear. Are they actually attempting to protect private information? Or are they simply feverishly trying to hide all the skeletons in Blake's closet before discovery exposes everything?
Blake Lively diagnosed with something that could actually affect this case and actually explain why she's the way she is. And when I say mental health, we're not talking about something that is really serious.
Hold on tight, though, as the cherry on top of Blake's public later, her marriage to Ryan Reynolds is allegedly swirling the drain. Multiple verified sources, authentic ones, not tabloid hearsay, confirm that the two are no longer even cohabiting.
About how much Ryan Reynolds is worth, and he cannot afford this law.
Distinct households, distinct lives, and all those adorable red carpet appearances. Totally PR smoke and mirrors. As per at US Weekly, insiders revealed that Blake and Ryan experienced both good and bad days. The interpretation. The Fishers are displaying, and behind closed doors, things are becoming disorganized.
That's what we see, but I do have to say that the arguments in this opposition were really good.
Consider it. This lawsuit is more than merely destroying Blake's career. It is dragging Ryan down with her. Insiders in Hollywood are softly murmuring the dreaded D word, divorce. And honestly, at this point, it wouldn't be shocking at all.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' relationship amid their legal battle. Good days and bad days. Are these two headed for divorce?
The man is out here making ridiculous gestures to reject, openly endorsing a legal action that has been shown to be a total joke when their reputations deteriorate. You can actually sense the stress whenever they attempt to pretend to be united for the cameras. It's so forced that you would require a chisel to carve through the discomfort.
You might be a little embarrassed, but to ruin a career, there has to be some level of fraud.
Oh, and if you think it's just the media turning cold, check Blake's personal circle. Her previously rock-solid friendships are collapsing more quickly than her legal instance. Even her bestie, Taylor Swift, is distancing herself. The friendship has been severely strained as a result of Blake bringing up Taylor's name in the circus. Do you recall Blake's attempt to use Taylor as a weapon to put pressure on Baldoni to all set? Turns out Taylor is far from ecstatic to be drawn into Blake's self-inflicted disaster.
Got you on this extortion. His argument is so weak. He's basically saying, well, I didn't receive any money. And it's like, buddy, extortion is a lot bigger.
Not to be overlooked is Anna Kendrick. She and Blake recently reunited for a movie promo, but the atmosphere is awkward. Anna couldn't even pretend to be having fun. In every interview, Anna's giving the bare minimum while Blake faces difficulties to maintain the facade. Everyone in the vicinity Blake is either stealthily leaving or just barely tolerating her. she's burning bridges quicker than she can construct them.
I really do think she's just a spoiled brat. Like, it just goes down to something that simple. She's a spoiled brat, and she's used to getting what she wants from a time that she was a kid. And this is what she wanted. And I do think that people have not pieced.
At this point, Blake's entire world is one giant ticking time bomb. Lawsuit stress, PR disasters, legal setbacks, media backlash, mental health exposure, and now a marriage collapse unfolding in real time. She wanted control so badly, manipulating the media, pulling every string, and acting the ultimate victim. But instead, she's watching every piece of her carefully crafted image explode in her face, and no one is sticking around to catch her when she falls.
I believe this is probably related to personality disorders. A lot of people have pointed out that Blake Lively, there's a lot of experts that are reading it, and of course no one can give a diagnosis, but it looks as though she's a narcissist.
Ryan Reynolds might be smiling for the cameras, but behind the scenes he's facing a $400 million lawsuit, zero public sympathy, a marriage on thin ice, and no easy way out. The only thing Blake Lively's lawsuit has accomplished is turning her entire life, career, marriage, and media image into a big train disaster. Moreover, trust me, it's only getting worse.
There's going to be a lot stronger defamation claims against Ryan.
And now let's get to the section that's making Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds sweat bullets. The funds. Oh yes, the cold hard cash. Because if you thought the public humiliation, lawyers quitting, media turning, and marriage fractures were bad enough, the financial fallout about to hit them is next level. Justin Baldoni isn't playing. He's hit them with a $400 million lawsuit.
In terms of how you're presenting yourself to the public and who you are in private.
And just when you think, well, maybe they can manage it, guess what? There's another $250 million lawsuit aimed against the New York Times, but it indirectly drags them in too. Thus, now we're looking at a beautiful little $650 million in total looming over their heads like a financial bomb on top of court costs, fines, and damages, and interest accumulating like a nightmare loan.
Filing to dismiss is essentially him saying, like, nah, boo-boo, I'm a defamation claim, you can't touch me, because it sat.
Here's the real kicker Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively enjoys showing off their Hollywood's wealthiest pair, showing off as if they're swimming in billions.
Reynolds is a billionaire or close to a billionaire, but according to several reports, he is not, and this all ties back into a soccer club.
But catch a glimpse behind the curtain. Ryan's wealth is somewhere in the middle, between $350 and $400 million. Moreover, Blake, let's just say her career has been so unchanging that it's almost on life support. The majority of Ryan's fortune isn't even liquid.
Personally believe that Ryan Reynolds is not only a narcissist, but I believe he is
It's all connected to stuff like his Wrexham football club, which by the way isn't exactly raking in Premier League level cash yet, and future Deadpool royalties. He lacks translation skills. A check for $400 million was laying around. Blake, however, was unable to cover even a portion of the losses if she sold every dress and handbag she's ever posed in.
combined net worth of around $400 million may not be enough to sustain the club at this level. Their combined net worth is what Justin Baldoni is just suing Ryan.
The cherry, additionally, their PR machine was effective. Over time, convincing the world they were essentially untouchable billionaires, unhindered, money coming in from each direction. However, the more closely you examine, the clearer it becomes. They are unable to pay to be defeated in this scenario. Not even near. Between fines, court costs, and attorney fees, cleaning up the media and the irreversible harm to their reputation, it's a serious financial catastrophe. Blake isn't precisely scheduling A-list projects at any time soon after this PR disaster. So, future earnings, very little. They wager everything about this fictitious story, and now they're on the edge of losing it everything.
Their reputations are ruined. Who is going to want to work with them, especially as more and more comes out, especially as discovery comes out and depositions? To me, their careers are over.
But fear not, it becomes even more repulsive. In the past, Blake and Ryan strutted around Hollywood like king and untouchable queen, with the whole industry going above and beyond to commend them. Not anymore. Hollywood has turned its back, and the quiet is overwhelming. Insiders in the industry are leaving like their careers depend on it, since, well, they do. No one wants to be linked to a sinking ship, and Blake Lively's name has formally designated as a PR hazard zone.
Reynolds and Lively wanted Wayfair to issue a statement taking the blame for Lively's bad press.
Take Hugh Jackman, for instance. Ryan's bromance buddy, completely distanced. Not a single peep of support. The friendship that lasted for decades has ended. Oddly quiet. Additionally, let's not forget the golden girl of the business. Her team has been working overtime to keep her name as far away as conceivable from Blake's disintegrating mess.
Be a lot stronger defamation claims against Ryan Reynolds, because could you imagine the text messages between him and Hugh Jackman as they're putting together all of these scenes? I mean, it's going to get...
Taylor is out there promoting CDs, though, while traveling, and Blake's legal action is that she doesn't want anything tied to her. She's already had to avoid the consequences of Blake attempting to use their bond as a backstage ticket to manipulate Baldon. Baldon's legal group nailed it. They've exposed exactly how Blake weaponized media connections, PR power, and even her friendships. She thought she could play the long game, employ the industry as a personal defense. However, it is currently backfiring horribly. No PR stunt can reverse this amount of fallout. Hollywood's learned she's not worth the bother, and they're moving on.
To pay for the associated inconveniences, the travel, the lawyers, if Hugh Jackman, anyone getting deposed who's got to make arrangements for it if they have to get their own lawyers or whatever it is, and here's Ryan, should be looking out for them and not himself.
This leads us to the inevitable pièce de résistance, the Blake Lively's whole demise. Now let's operate the scoreboard. Her attorney resigned, unable to even feign defense of the she's been spouting gibberish. Her public relations team fatigued, publicly humiliated, probably updating their resumes. The media completely done. The Times of New York bombshell exploded. No one's sticking up for her. Her marriage is in jeopardy. Thread, if it remains intact at all. Mental health. Her own lawyer unwittingly exposed fundamental issues, demonstrating how disorganized things have gotten behind closed doors. It's not merely Hollywood turning on her. It's the general public, the media, insiders, the court system, all jointly realizing Blake's account is untenable. Each and every her PR endeavor backfires even worse. There is neither a last-minute nor a redemption arc plot twist. No carefully staged social media post that can rewrite this story. Blake's demise is taking place in real time, and she's the only one who hasn't figured it out. Every action she makes digs her further. Her media shield is damaged. Her PR team can't spin the facts. Baldon's case is locked in, supported by an abundance of evidence. Moreover, Hollywood, they've already moved on for Blake. It is no longer an if. It's when she loses. Additionally, based on how swiftly the walls are closing in, that moment is coming sooner rather than later. Her lawyer dipped because fiction cannot be justified. The strategies of her PR staff blew up, and they are currently dealing with legal heat. The media is done with her. Baldon is sitting nicely amid mountains of evidence, and the number of lawsuits is growing, become a casual nightmare worth $650 million. Blake is quickly running out of moves. Honestly, if your own lawyer and PR team are tapping out, it's safe to say you've officially lost the storyline. Alongside her empire collapsing in flames.